Hello, students. This is your English lesson. Today we are going to read a poem that is a part of unit number 10 from Oxford Modern English, book 8. The title of the poem is The Inchcape Rock. So we start our lesson. First of all, words to know. Abbot of Aberbrothock, a monk in the 1300s, sea under Inchcape Rock. Boy, Convoy, a large anchored float, often equipped with lights or a bell, that serves as a guide or warning to ships. Canst, archaic form of the verb can, used with though. Example, canst thou. Here, Inchcape Rock. This is a dangerous reef in the North Sea off the coast of Scotland. According to legend, a monk, the abbot of Aberbrothock, John Geddy, tied a bell to the rock in the 1300s to warn mariners of its danger. One day, Sir Rolf the rover, a pirate, spitefully cut the bell free from the rock. Later, he returned to the area, but there was no bell to give warning, and his ship was sunk when it struck the rock. Joyance, used chiefly in poetry, rejoicing, delight, merrymaking. Keel, the main part of a ship, stretching along the center line of its bottom from the bow to the stern. Nil, the sound of a bell, something that signifies death, disaster, or the end of something. Mariner, mariner, seaman, sailor. Methinks, archaic, it seems to me. Perilous, dangerous or unsafe. Quoth, archaic said when used with direct speech. Scored, search thoroughly and quickly for something. Surge, a powerful rising and falling the waves. Now read the poem together. No star in the air, no star in the sea. The ship was still as she could be. Her sails from heaven received no motion. Her keel was steady in the ocean, without either sign or sound of their shock. The waves flowed over the Inchcape Rock. So little they rose, so little they fell, they did not move the Inchcape bell. The abbot of Aberbrothock had placed that bell on the Inchcape Rock. On a buoy in the storm it floated and swung, and over the waves its warning rung. When the rock was hit by the surge swell, the mariners heard the warning bell, and then they knew the perilous rock and blast. The abbot of Aberbrothock. The sun in the heaven was shining gay. All things were joyful on that day. The seabirds screamed as they wheeled round, and there was joyance in their sound. The buoy of the Inchcape bell was seen, a darker speck on the ocean green. Sir Rolf the rover walked his deck and fixed his eye on the darker speck. He felt the cheering power of spring. It made him whistle, it made him sing. His heart was mirthful to excess, but the rover's mirth was wickedness. His eye was on the Inchcape float. Quoth he, my men, put out the boat and row me to the Inchcape Rock, and I'll plug the abbot of Aberbrothock. The boat is lowered, the boatmen row, and to the Inchcape Rock they go. Sir Ralph bent over from the boat, and he cut the bell from the Inchcape float. Down sank the bell with a gurgling sound. The bubbles rose and burst around. Quoth Sir Ralph, the next who comes to the rock won't bless the abbot of Aberbrothock. Sir Ralph the rover sailed away. He scoured the seas for many a day, and now grown rich with plundered store, he steers his course for Scotland's shore. So thick a haze overspreads the sky, they can't see the sun on high. The wind hath blown a gale all day, at evening it hath died away. On the deck the rover takes his stand, so dark it is they see no land. Quoth Sir Ralph, it will be lighter soon, for there is the dawn of the rising moon. Canst hear, said one, the breakers roar, for methinks we should be near the shores. Now, where we are, I cannot tell, but I wish we could hear the Inchcape bell. They hear no sound, the swell is strong, though the wind hath fallen, they drift along till the vessel strikes with a shivering shock. Oh Christ, it is the Inchcape rock. Sir Ralph the rover tore his hair. He cursed himself in his despair. The waves rush in on every side. The ship is sinking beneath the tide. But even is his dying fear, one dreadful sound could the rover hear, a sound as if with the Inchcape bell the devil below was ringing his knell. Students, now come to the poem's explanation. I will explain stanza by stanza. The Inchcape Rock is a ballad written by English poet Robert Southey. It tells the story of a 14th century attempt by the abbot of Aberbrothock to install warning bell on Inchcape, a notorious sandstone reef about 11 miles off the east coast of Scotland. In the first stanza, the poet describes the calmness of the sea and sets the natural setting. The sea was calm and there was no movement in the air. In the second stanza, he describes the mild sea waves. The ocean waves flowed over the Inchcape rock very smoothly. The movement was so slow that it could make the Inchcape bell ring. In the third stanza, he tells about Abbot of Aberbrothock. He was a spiritual man who positioned a large bell atop a buoy to warn the sailors about the possible collision. In this stanza, in the fourth stanza, the poet describes a cheerful atmosphere. It was very sunny day. The sun was shining the sky and making the other creatures on earth happy. On that fine day, the anchored floating sign was clearly visible as a blackish spot in the green ocean. The captain of the ship, Sir Rover, stood on the deck of his vessel and at the spot of the buoy. The magic of the cheerful weather gripped his mind and he felt joyous. However, this joy was not pure. He had something devilish in his mind. The devilish thought made him to intrigue a very nasty plan. His attention was to destroy the bell. So the captain ordered his men to lower a boat and hopped on it so as to get close to the buoy. As soon as Ralph cut the rope, the bell of Inchcape sank down into the deep water. He was satisfied that the bell would save no more ships. He was very proud of his act. He set the sails on a new journey across many seas and over many days. He was a pirate and robbed many ships which met accidents crashing to the Inchcape rock and became a rich man. The day when Sir Ralph was returning turned to be dark. The strong winds were blowing throughout the day. Sir Ralph stood on the deck but could not see the land due to bad weather conditions. One of the crew members said he could not locate the position of the ship. Now he was lamenting that there was no Inchcape bell to warn them. The sea got more turbulent and wild. Suddenly the ship got the jerk and their vessel hit the Inchcape rock. The rover, Sir Ralph, in frustration, pulled his hair and cursed himself for his evil deeds. Exercises A. Understanding the poem. 1. Answer the following questions. A. What picture of the sea does the poet describe in the first 8 lines of the poem? Why does he do this? Answer. The poet paints a picture of a placid, calm sea. Visibility is fine and the day is a clear one. The Inchcape's rock and bell are clearly visible. The poet describes the sea in neutral terms to allay our fears about the danger so that later the effect of the disaster is all the more dramatic. B. How does the poet describe the sea in the rest of the poem? Find all the words and phrases related to the sea, its appearance, motion, and sound. Answer. The words that poet uses describe a turbulent sea, surge, swell, thick hazors spreads, the sky, so dark it is, they see no land, the breakers roar, the swell is strong. C. What was the legend upon which the poet based this poem? Answer. The abbot of Aberbrothock, John Geddy, a monk in the 1300s, tied a bell to a rock, the Inchcape, warned mariners of its danger. One day Sir Ralph the rover, a pirate, spitefully cut the bell free from the rock. Later he returned to the area, but there was no bell to give warning, and his ship was sunk when it struck the rock. D. In what way was the Inchcape bell important to mariners? Mariners? Answer. It warned mariners of the danger when the rock was hit by the surge swell. The mariners heard the warning bell. E. Who was Sir Ralph and how did he become rich? How is his described? Answer. Sir Ralph was a pirate or rover. He grew rich from plunder. He is described at first as being mirthful and full of good cheer because of the spring, but his mirth was caused by wickedness. Later, he is worried because he cannot hear the bell in the darkness, and after the ship is wrecked, he pulls his hair and curses himself in despair. F. What made Sir Ralph cut the bell free? Answer. Sir Ralph cut the bell free out of spite. G. What are the prevailing weather conditions when Sir Ralph returns to the shores of Scotland? Answer. The weather conditions on his return were worse than when he left. There is a thick haze, it is dark, and there has been a gale blowing all day. The swell is strong. H. What are Sir Ralph's feelings before his end comes? Answer. He swears, tears his hair, and curses in his despair. These questions are more difficult. Discuss them first. I. What lesson does the story teach us? The story teaches us the lesson, as you sow, so shall you reap. J. What feelings or emotions do you have when reading the poem? Answer. In the beginning of the poem, we feel calm and quietness. Its scene is fascinating and captivate attention of the reader. We are curious to know about the story told in the poem. The poem teaches that the people who do good to others receive the same, and people who are ill practiced face the same circumstances in near future. To answer the following questions with reference to context, quotes Saraf, the next who comes to the rock won't bless the abbot of Aberbroth. Aberbroth. A. Where is Saraf when he speaks these words and who is he addressing? Answer. Saraf is on a small rowboat near the Inchcape rock when he speaks these words. He is addressing his crew. B. What has Saraf just done? Answer. Saraf has just cut the bell from the Inchcape float. C. Why does Saraf mention the abbot of Aberbroth? Saraf mentions the abbot of Aberbroth because he was the one who installed the bell. D. What does Saraf do after this? Answer. After this, Saraf sailed away. Writing with words 1. Copy the following words into your exercise book. Mark where the stress occurs in the following words and then add the suffix ing or ed. Check the spelling in your dictionary. Deposited, interpreted, balloted, deferred, deterred, pivoted, deserted, repeated, deferred, benefited, revealed, conferred, transferred, fidgeted, concealed. 2. Find words from the first part of the poem with a similar meaning to the following. A. Movement, star. B. Shift, move. C. Streamed, frowned. D. Obtained, received. E. Continual, steady. F. Climbed, rose. C. Learning about language. 1. Rewrite the following, turning the first sentence into an adverb clause of concession. Use though or although. A. He had eaten a dozen bananas. He was still hungry. Though he had eaten a dozen bananas, he was still hungry. B. He is a poor man and does not earn very much. He often gives money away. Though he is a poor man and does not earn very much, he often gives money away. C. Arshad and Naima bought a house. They never lived in it. Although Arshad and Naima bought a house, they never lived in it. D. The children had measles. They were allowed to sit in the garden. Although the children had measles, they were allowed to sit in the garden. E. We have never been to see the Eiffel Tower. We know what it looks like. Although we have never been to see the Eiffel Tower, we know what it looks like. Adverbial clauses of purpose. To rewrite the following as one sentence, turning the second sentence into an adverbial clause of purpose. You saw that in order that. A. The doctor gave the patient an injection so that he would go to sleep. B. They took a taxi to the station so that they could meet their friend. C. The teacher wrote this instruction. The teacher wrote the instructions clearly in order that the children would not make a mistake. D. The shopkeeper locked his shop in order to keep out burglars.
Thanks for listening. For new videos, don't forget to subscribe my channel. And if you like my videos, please share and like.